Despite its deep differences with the PPPC, the Working People's Alliance (WPA) has commended the government's move to set the record straight surrounding the demise of prominent Guyanese historian, political activist, orator, and preeminent scholar Dr. Walter Rodney. Days before Dr. Rodney's 41st death anniversary, Attorney General Anil Nandalal announced in the National Assembly on Thursday a slew of measures the PPPC administration has in the pipeline to honor the life and legacy of the late political activist. Following Dr. Rodney's death, there were decades of advocacy and struggle by his family, friends, and loved ones to have the facts of his death ascertained. The WPA in a statement said, I quote, "We are especially heartened that the death certificate of our beloved brother would be amended to reflect the true cause of his demise, assassination. WPA has never wavered in our belief that Dr. Rodney was murdered by agents and at the direction of the then PNC government because of his political activism." End of quote. The Attorney General said efforts will be taken to correct certain elements of the death certificate.
His death certificate described him as unemployed, as he was denied a job at his country's only university after working at universities across the globe. This historical wrong will be corrected, and the death certificate will be amended to read professor instead of unemployed.
Walter Rodney's assassination was executed on June 13, 1980. He was 38 years at the time he was killed in a bomb blast. An inquest conducted 8 years after Dr. Rodney's death said that he died by, I quote, misadventure, end of quote. Nandalal told the National Assembly that the inquest was found to be incredible, flawed, and dubious. In 2014, the then president of Guyana, Donald Ramotar, established a commission of inquiry to investigate the circumstances surrounding the death of Rodney.
Steps will be taken to invalidate or set aside the perverse findings of that inquest.
Of the measures announced, government plans to declare the Rodney gravesite and memorial a national monument, to use books penned by the late scholar as part of the national syllabus, and to make his other works available at the University of Guyana's library.
Steps will be taken to invalidate or set aside the perverse findings of that inquest. Although this son of Guyana was best known and respected throughout the world for his academic accomplishments, scholarship, and activism, his death certificate described him as unemployed, as he was denied a job at his country's only university after working at universities across the globe. This historical wrong will be corrected, and the death certificate will be amended to read professor instead of unemployed. We have already begun and will continue our efforts to secure the records of the 2014 Commission of Inquiry. Those records will be digitized by our National Archives, recently renamed the Walter Rodney National Archives, in collaboration with the Walter Rodney Foundation and the Atlanta University Center Robert W. Woodruff Library, Atlanta, Georgia, and copies of the same will be housed at that institution as part of the Walter Rodney Papers and Special Collection. The Rodney gravesite and memorial are currently being managed collaboratively between the Rodney family and the National Trust. Today, I am proud to announce that they will be declared national monuments and fall under the administration of the National Trust. One of the greatest tragedies flowing from Dr. Rodney's death is the loss of his scholarship to the people of Guyana. His children's books that celebrate the cultural heritage of Guyanese, Coffee Badu out of Africa, and Lakshmi out of India, shall be placed on the national syllabus by the Ministry of Education and in the hands of primary and secondary students across this land.
Rodney, a popular political figure in Guyana, was killed when a bomb exploded in the car he was driving. The then government claimed that Rodney and his brother Donald were responsible for their own deaths. However, there was and still remains deep skepticism. The WPA expressed their, I quote, disgust with the way in which the PPP has used the memory of Walter Rodney to encourage the further divide of Guyana politically and ethno-racially, end of quote, in its statement. The party also condemned the PNC for its failure to, I quote, redeem itself, end of quote, by quashing the Commission of Inquiry into the political activist's debt, as well as to make official the findings of the inquiry. Reporting for the HGP Nightly News, Amel Griffith.